Hi, my name is Emily Gillenwater, and this presentation is on air rights, specifically with the use of drones. This has only become an issue recently within the past 5 years or so. With their growing popularity amongst businesses and consumers, a small dilemma has been formed over the argument of individuals' rights. The most current issue involves Amazon.com. And basically, what Amazon is trying to do is offer a delivery service that allows them to send your packages via drone. This cuts delivery time from 2 days to simply 30 minutes. However, the FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration, has not given Amazon the permits to test this delivery system because of the threat of flying into someone else's property. Another issue that is closer to home involves Carowinds Amusement Park. A few months ago, a drone almost flew into one of their roller coasters as it was running. Now you may ask, aren't there laws against this kind of behavior? How can this kind of stuff happen? And basically what it boils down to is it depends on who the pilot is. Commercially, there are no laws pertaining to the specific use of using drones for transporting goods. As far as the FAA is concerned, it's not allowed because it's a threat to individuals' privacy. Now, on the recreational side, there aren't necessarily laws against them, they're just certain limitations that are set in place. Some examples that I found were that a drone can't be flown within 5 miles of an airport. It also cannot weigh more than 55 pounds. There are also other sanctions in place to make sure that the device or aircraft doesn't interfere with manned aircraft. It's interesting to see that there are no laws limiting the horizontal traveling of drones. A popular question I found amongst most of my sources, specifically with the case reviews, is that authors were bringing up the point that why can't recreational and commercial pilots of drones have the same set of laws? The popular census concludes that companies should get a few more privileges than the recreational pilot. Now, there are some lawmakers in Texas that are trying to regulate their drone law. One of the biggest points that they are arguing over is whether cameras on drones should be banned, that no one should have them at all. And the problem is, companies are going to have cameras on their device, and this is when that privilege comes into play. While Texas may ban the use of cameras on drones, companies should be able to apply for a permit or some kind of certification saying that they can use cameras on their drones because they're going to need that device and they're going to need that camera on their drone so they know who they're delivering their packages to. People are also defending companies' use of drones over the fact that it will employ many veterans, specifically Air Force pilots who used to pilot drones. From the recreational standpoint, there's a certain stigma associated with it. Drones were originally intended for the use of the military. Many civilians are aware that you can buy military-esque drones. This becomes an issue for the Department of Defense because there are some civilians who are buying innocent drones just to have fun, simply for entertainment purposes, but there are also certain few individuals who buy weaponized drones that you can buy in surplus stores around the country. And this is where that line gets blurred. How can you distinguish a weaponized drone from a non-weaponized drone that's 400 feet in the air? Another issue is that certain individuals are infringing on other individuals' right to privacy. While the drones are not trespassing by law, they are acquiring footage that is taken without consent, which is illegal. The problem again is, how can you tell that a drone 400 feet in the air has a camera on it? By the FAA standards, drones for recreational use are purely optional and they should be regulated. Unlike the commercial use of drones, it's purely for fun. It's not fulfilling contracts with customers. Overall, the commercial uses should be less regulated than a civilian because it's fulfilling that contract between the customer and the supplier. The customer is paying for this to happen. This is not a surprise, unlike the recreational use, which is purely for the pilot's joy and their personal use. While acquiring sensitive footage is a big issue, I think the cameras as a whole most likely should be banned. And maybe the only people who should be allowed to have cameras are companies and select few individuals who apply for that permit. Or do what the FAA is doing with Amazon and just take a very long time to iron out all the kinks in the process and make sure that it is as detailed as it needs to be.